Hi, it's Dr. Lorn, and I wanted to impart a little bit of information on something that sometimes is construed as a heart problem, but a person has symptoms and then they go to the doctor, ER, they get completely checked out, and the pain that they were having is found to not be the heart, at least. So they're still left with the idea of there was pain and they don't know what caused it. So many times people will be told that maybe it was acid reflux and it caused some shooting pain, and then you mistook that for, or not mistook, but you were to understand that it potentially was a heart issue. And of course, no one who's thinking clearly is going to blow off what potentially is a heart problem and just kind of see what happens. What I would like to give to you in terms of information is an idea of another cause, which could be musculoskeletal, which I'm referring to the intercostal muscles, which are in between your ribs. And sometimes due to daily living posture things where we crunch over and our posture isn't the greatest, or we're looking at phones constantly, we're looking at screens in front of us and slightly down where we crunch our posture in and we're not breathing in a more full manner, where your ribs actually flare while you're breathing. And when that happens, those muscles don't get the movement that they need, and eventually they can fire up on you and you can get a spasm, or I believe there can be trigger points in those muscles, which are little focal points of strain, and there's a number of reasons for that, but the bottom line is that they'll actually fire up on you and you get pain, or some kind of shooting pain, or some very strange pain, and of course all of those could be interpreted as a heart issue. But like we said, if you got it checked and there wasn't anything, now you're left wondering why. So in between the ribs, there are what they call intercostal muscles. And everybody knows of these because, if you've ever ordered a plate of ribs, that's what you're eating, are intercostal muscles. Obviously not from a person, but, well, we hope not, right? And with that intercostal muscle pairs that are there, you can get these strains. And sometimes it happens when people move a certain way, they twist, they turn, they lift something heavy and twist and turn, and it fires up, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack? Okay, so bottom line, if you weren't having a heart attack, now here's a potential answer, that the intercostal muscle fired up on you, and that's what caused the symptoms that were similar to what you might perceive as a heart attack. So there are simple ways to loosen those muscles up with fuller breathing patterns, as the ribs are meant to move when you are breathing. I'm not saying big, huge breaths where you're straining yourself to take those breaths in an exercise. I'm talking about just fluid movement as you breathe, not belly breathing, because that is not full breathing. Breathing where the ribs are moving as they're meant to move with a regular breath. So at least now you might have a little bit of extra information that tells you that if you have that type of pain, that if all testing shows there wasn't a heart issue, now you have another potential explanation in addition to acid reflux or something else you might have been told that wasn't intercostal muscle strain. So hopefully that helps. There are things that you can do or exercises, breathing exercises you could do to keep the health in those joints where the ribs meet the other bones. And I will do a video on that with a little more detail so that people can understand it. And also the breathing patterns that can spare you from this if you start having these symptoms. And you may be able to do some simple breathing exercises that will alleviate those symptoms. So hopefully that helps you. I've had in the last several weeks numerous cases of this actually in the clinic. So if you have questions, I will try to answer those or elaborate on some of this before the next video goes up. Thanks.